he couldn't be happier to be in England, away from, family and friends, away from distractions. They're sequestered away. They're staying way outside of London. This is like perfect environment for Sean Payton after a big win, where there's nothing to do except for think about football and think about how you're definitely not going to get tripped up against a winless Jets team.
The comeback on Sunday against the Eagles, down 17-3, and then they find a way to win it. Was that more about the Eagles squandering the lead, or was it about the Broncos doubling down and accessing some reservoir of magic to pull off the victory?
I think primarily Philadelphia just was baffling sort of in the second half, in terms of Saquon Barkley got one carry in the second half of a game they're leading by 2 scores. And he didn't practice, I guess, before the short week or earlier this week because of a knee issue, but he was available in the game. They could have given the ball to somebody else. They just didn't run the ball. The thing that I will say from the Broncos perspective in terms of erasing a 2-score lead, coming back in the fourth quarter, Sean Payton, New Orleans was maybe a little bit different, but since he's been in Denver, when they get behind early, he abandons the run. He always has. He cannot get back to it. And in this game, they were trailing 17-3 the first time they touched the ball in the second half, and yet they ran the ball 19 times for 94 yards in the second half. And it really helped them get going, I think, later in the game. Obviously, Bo Nix made some plays too, but you can't do that every game when you're trailing by 2 scores. But really, I think the willingness, maybe for the first time since he's been the head coach in Denver, to stick to the run when you're not in an advantageous situation and believe that eventually that's going to pay off. I mean, it did. It did, and it did against a team, obviously, that won the Super Bowl last year, and it helped them win a game that, they were 1-121 in games they trailed by 2 scores in the fourth quarter. So it's a game the Broncos have barely ever won in the past, and they won it last week in part because they stuck to the run and were committed to it.
The most significant moment in the game was the decision by Sean Payton to go for 2. It was one of those analytics defying, what's the play here? Why are you doing this? And I saw that he said after the game, very simply, we came here to win. What's the deeper story behind how that all came to be, and why in that moment Sean Payton dialed up the 2-point play that was successful?
Yeah, it's interesting, Mike, because the sort of analytically minded folks would say you should go for 2 the first time you score. When you get to down 8, you go for 2 then, because you've got 2 chances. If you get one of them, you can still tie the game. If you get the first one, you're in position to win the second time. So it was analytics defying. Sean, week to week, he always feels good about his game plan and sort of what he's got in the bag. Some weeks he feels really good about it, and he played it pretty close to the vest in terms of his history with Vic Fangio, just over the years as we talked to him during the week. But he felt like he had 3 or 4 2-point conversion type plays that he felt really good about, had a lot of conviction in. He was almost sort of wistful after the game, saying he had a couple more that if they don't play Philadelphia again for a while will just sort of float into the ether, almost like he's sad he can't, put them into the world. But he had one he felt really good about. Troy Franklin's really come along. You anticipate what coverage you're going to get in a 2-point conversion play, and they trusted Troy Franklin, second-year player, to fake a slant, sell it hard, and get to the corner. And he did. He got open, and Bo Nix put a good throw on him.
That's one of the amazing things about Payton's approach. He will find something that works against one specific defense, and he'll know it's going to work. He'll have that conviction it's going to work. He'll coach up the play. And I don't even know that the players know when it's coming. I saw the Bo Nix interview on the field after the game, and he said they've been repping it for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
He didn't know it was coming. So I just feel like in a moment like that, and this is where football for me breaks from the X's and O's and the analytics and becomes a very human sport. There was a message that was sent, both in the decision to go for it. It gave the Broncos a boost, and it kind of put the Eagles against the ropes. And then when you get it, even though you still got a lot of game to play, it feels like a knockout punch.
Definitely. And you know what's interesting, Mike, is last year they score sort of a miracle touchdown on 4th down right at the end of regulation against Cincinnati, late December. If they win the game, they're in the playoffs. If they tie the game, they're in the playoffs. And Sean opted to kick an extra point. He basically played for overtime instead of taking the aggressive track and trying to win the game in regulation. And the way that he explained that after the game was they'd already gone for 2 previously. They had a 4th and 1, and he had sort of used his reservoir of what he thought were sort of his A-grade plays for that situation. 2 yards and got to have it. And so that was conservative, you might look at that still and say, boy, you should have gone for two, found something that you thought could work and try to win the game right there. They lose in overtime, then they lose to the Chargers. Now they've got to win the last week of the season. So you're always walking this line between the message you're sending your team, the play you have at your disposal, the strategy that you're trying to deploy in that moment. But in this moment, he decided this is a chance for us to win on the road, to take the lead, to beat the team that won the Super Bowl this year and sort of jumpstart, going over to London. And obviously it paid off big.
And that's a great point too, because that's one of the things that gets lost in the whole, what does the formula say when you go for two? That's just one factor. One of the other factors is, do I have a play I feel good about? Yeah. And have I already used the ones I feel good about in short yardage or goal line situations? And am I willing to use it again? Sean Payton typically isn't. So if he's used his best plays, what's he have left? Those all go into the decision that has to be made, and obviously it worked out well.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.